Welcome back to the West Quad Ball National Qualifiers. Here we have a rematch from the last game I was commentating. Hi, I'm Joe Blanchard, and I'm here with
Lynn Novak.
and we're here bringing you the play-by-play and color commentary for today's final game. So, as we said, keys to the game from the last time we played, limiting transition opportunities for the other team and creating transition opportunities for yourself. Control was a huge, huge part of that. We see the starting beaters for the Lost Boys, Krager and Jake Malloy, two very talented beaters. And then we have Andrew and Jesse running for the other dodgeball and quad ball.
Quad ball. Right.
As we like to say, what is a quaffle? What is a bludger? I do not know those terms anymore. And here we have our rules analyst, Jonathan Gala, joining us here. Jonathan, what are we, anything you're looking for as an AR?
I'm looking for the throws after being beat.
Yes, that's a very advanced move here where you actually have to release the ball you throw before you get beat for that beat that you throw to count.
That too, yeah. So when you do an exchange, two people throw at the same time. If the person doesn't release the ball and they hit the other person, that one doesn't count. It's a bang bang play. It's a very tough call, but the good ARs will be on top of that.
And
And
we
he's a good AR, and we know this for fact. So
we do. We have a great, very talented, very experienced ref crew here. I think all of them are HRs in some way. So should be a very clean game. These games can get very intense. A lot of emotions between these two teams. This is for the championship, so I expect it to get hot and heavy as the last game ended in such a way. If we remember last time, Andrew actually ran for one of these two dodgeballs closer to us. We'll see. It looks like they're lining up to do that again. Lynn, any thoughts?
I'm very fascinated by the fact that they are going to contest one of the non-typically contested dodgeballs because we changed our entire lineup procedure to avoid potential collisions on the midline for this reason, and yet here breakers are attempting to do it anyway because they find bludger control invaluable, which it is. So if they can actually pull this off, that'll be pretty great. But Kruger is wicked fast, as is Malloy, so who knows? Who knows?
I believe they were able to get to the ball first, but not pick it up, and then their other beater partner was there to clean it up in the last game. So
Okay. All right. Well, at least they're expecting it, so it won't be too much of a surprise
yes,
because that's not something we personally have ever run against. So it would definitely catch us a little off guard.
yes. And then let's see the rest of our starting lineups here. Looks like we have Lindsay, Jess, Steve, and Vince for the Lost Boys Quad Ball Club, and we have over here
17. I can't tell who that is, but it looks like 17.
John.
17, 30.
That's John.
Soleil.
John Judd, Soleil, Kyle, and 17. Let's see who do we have.
Is that 13 or is that 17?
I cannot see the number. I think that would be.
It might be 10. It's 10.
10.
Whoever 10 is on breakers is the last member of our
Oh,
starting
Maxine,
lineup.
of course. It's Maxine.
Maxine.
Yes. Maxine actually had a great play at the end of the last game. We're about to start, so I'll have to stop here.
That was a very
Having
cute
blast
wave.
out here in the West. And we have brooms up here. It's a race here. Oh, and look at this.
And we
She does win,
straight
but Krager does get to the other ball in time. It is control. Oh, a high beat. Oh,
double
looks
beat
like we have a card here. A delayed penalty.
advantage.
And there is the stoppage there.
Face beat.
Yeah, so there's a face beat on Jake Malloy on that trade there. That should be a dodgeball turnover right away if the call goes through. And let's see here. So that's, as you said, a key to the game here is dodgeball control. And that's going to be a tough break if this is a penalty on 50 here, Andrew, just because of how important that was. They won the race, were in a pretty good spot, and cost them. It might cost them here. Also, that would be a quad ball turnover as well.
I really liked how they solved the problem of having a contested bludger where Kruger just kind of got all up in I don't know the
Andrew.
Andrew's way, but once they separated contact and peeled off, Kruger actually went for the far bludger
Hmm.
and left Jake to try to get the bludger that Andrew was going for.
Yeah. We have a long discussion here, and I think it might come to the fact that they were both actively throwing at each other at the time that happened, and there was a little bit of distance between it. We'll see what the call is here.
Yes,
Uh,
for those curious, face beats are illegal if they are done from too close and are intentional. And that is always a matter of debate because intention is hard to judge from the sidelines.
Yeah, I think that the rules actually changed recently, where it's less no longer about intent, but it's about the force of the throw. If the force of the throw from within 6 feet is more than just the force of just dropping the ball to the ground, it is an illegal face beat.
That tracks, and I would not have known that because
Yes.
I don't think I took my ref test this year,
Yes.
which is a reason why I'm here and not helping. I mean, I'm helping, but you know what I mean.
Of course. And then now here we have
Sully
control, and here's that fast break we were talking about. Vince is running, the beater comes in, and the shot is good. That is 10-0. Lost Boys.
nice cleanup by Malloy. As breakers reset and restart the ball, pass the ball off to one of their chasers as the keeper makes his way down the sideline to be a stronger passing option and possibly provide some force in the backfield.
And here we
Be tall and stand.
And here we have the ball going behind here. Johnson, very strong finisher, very cerebral, knows the field, gets the ball back up to 20. Jesse. We see the beaters here trying to make a play for control at the same time. And here we have the Bludgers, and Jesse takes a pass behind to Kyle. Oh, a good beat by Kruger here, and that is a turnover. And they're running on two.
Boys making their way slowly down the field, pass from keeper to chaser. As the beater play apparently gets a little crazy and people are trying to figure out what's going on. Malloy ends up
Great
with
catch.
two bludgers at one point. Our chaser with the quad ball is clear. Pass back to keeper.
Oh,
Clear.
it's clear. Now we have none for a second, but
Technically reset as Lindsay prevents the reset.
Oh, and then Lindsay uses the reset. And here we have Lost Boys, very smart, slowed the game down, is very chaotic. We're able to get control in that chaos. And now let's see what they'll do with it. We have this 3 trees, 3-1 defense here. They like to ping out the wings. And here we're seeing Soleil and Krager acting out. There's that tap out right there. Pass Lindsay just couldn't quite get it to connect.
Keep
And
the
that
ball
turnover.
and the keeper now has the ball and is now protected as long as he continues to advance through his zone. There's something going on with that. I don't know why that wasn't a card.
And we have control still with the Lost Boys and a beat by John. That was a throw after. And that is a turnover. Keeper ball for Lost Boys. And Lost Boys do have control here. New beater sub in here for Jake Malloy. I think that is Max.
Number 10, if that helps you
Yes.
find him on the
Yep.
list. Pass to behind the hoops as Steve takes the quaffle, pass back in front, and the quick throw through, and the goal.
Oh, there's
Through the pass was through the hoops, but the goal has been ruled no good. It has crossed the boundary and is now a turnover. Back to Breakers keeper, who now is apparently walking it in. And we are doing a slow, casual start to this set. Everyone is meandering down the field, slowly, casually. We've got one breaker player hiding in the backfield. I wonder if the Lost Boys have noticed them yet or not. But he's pretty far back there.
And we have Jesse bringing it up, passes the ball to Slay up top. We are seeing a very, very patient offense here from the Breakers. They will do that. They'll pass the ball around. They'll look for their look. And it looks like they're trying to really just pass the ball around to eventually get control back. Oh, and Soleil makes a pass. Oh, and picked off by Vince here. And they're about to. Ooh, that was a possible head beat here. We'll see if they call that bending down into it or not. But that was
And we are getting a full-on substitution for this. Duran is now in as a breaker beater.
Seems like they have no call here. That's tough though, because it does slow down the fast break's momentum here. There's a lot of chaos in the beater game. But here we
Steve
have
with Quaffle. Now, as they slowly make their way through, quick pass and over the hoops and
what a-
blocked. Live ball, and boundary. Lost Boys ball to walk in. And quick score by Vince, the keeper for Lost Boys.
And there we go. It's all tied up at 10 here. Deep into this game here, there's been a lot of good offensive looks here, but beats coming in just in time. We'll see as players start to get a little more tired whether those beats are still able to connect later on. Another slow, patient offense. We'll see if they're going to try to get control back. Lost Boys were able to turn that into a fast break last time. Looks like they might be trying. The beaters are very spread out for breakers.
I have a
Lots of pump
correction.
fakes.
I have a correction on the score. Score is currently, according to the score table in front of us, 20-0. Lost Boys up.
Thank you for the correction there. Thank you. It is 20-0 Lost Boys. And here we have another slow, patient offense. See what they're trying to set up here.
Long shot across, intercepted by Vince, dropped, but still remains in Lost Boys possession. As we're getting into gearing up and going into a fast break, let's see if they follow it through or if they slow it down. Nope, looks like we're slowing it down as the Breakers reset on their defense. Breakers once again running a 3-1. And Lost Boys beaters pinging out the wing hoops to try to open up some possibilities. Duran with Quaffle beats Steve. Ball is blocked by 51 on Breakers, even though he is tied up. Still Breakers ball. And once again, we return to slow meandering up the field.
You know, if this game keeps going at this pace here, we might see this really come down to how things go with played runner on pitch. Long time till then, but you know, I would like to see the Breakers here try to create some chaos in the beater game. I don't think they've done too much of that in the last two possessions.
No, but they do have Duran out right now, and he's been a threat to pretty much anybody at any point.
Yes.
From the beater perspective. So I'm sure some shakeup will come soon.
Yes, because you just can't keep passing it into Vince Wills. It's just a brick wall on defense. And here we go, setting the offense. They like to tap out these small or medium hoops. And here we have Speed.
Oh,
The hoop was knocked down, but they have someone to finish. Steve can't pick it up in time. Beat by Lorena. Beat by Sam. Natural motion on the kick. And that will be Lost Boys ball. And here we have Steve bringing the ball up. Looks like Breakers have gained control in the chaos here. And we'll see what they try to do here. Breakers are very dominant with control. They sink in very deep, and they're able to utilize good trading situations to fast break the other way.
Ball behind hoops, ball back up on top of hoops. Steve and Vince are just throwing it to each other. Long pass cross to 23. Pass down to back, still on top hoops to Hannah, or take your word for it. I can't see their numbers, so can't check. There's Lost Boys are slowly pushing on the far side and two behind. Beat out 23.
Oh, and I play for control here. And now they have passed the ball around, and Lorena's going to make a play here. And a beat
Vince
as
is
a
beat.
curve.
It is now Breaker's ball coming up and oh,
Hannah
nice steal.
Nice the boundary, but smartly. There we had. A
Illegal play in an attempt to push a player out of bounds has resulted in some sideline malfunctions as the player tripped over some of our sideline spectators.
looks like everyone is okay. They're likely may or may not be a card here. Unclear of whether the push happened inbounds or out of bounds. It's just an unfortunate situation of things being far too close to the sideline.
At this exact moment, as it stands, it looks like Lost Boys have regained possession of the beater. of the dodgeball. The beater has regained possession of the dodgeball. I can English. But we will see if this turns into a card and or a turnover.
I think the call would be on any Breakers player, so if there is one. So we should be good. And this will be a great steal by Hannah. Smartly uses the reset and now will be able to attack with control and possibly a beater in the box. And this could put it up 3-0. It's absolutely been a tale of two games. In the first game, the Breakers had control pretty consistently throughout and was able to consistently use that to score goals and just have not been able to have control so far in this second game.
But as you can see, despite the refs deliberating, the players themselves are all pretty happy with the thing. All right, so call has come through. Thanks to our head ref, Duran has received a yellow card for pushing out of bounds. Ball remains in Lost Boys possession, and we will be starting the game again as soon as the speaking captain finishes speaking with the ref.
We have our rules analyst, Jonathan Gala, possibly able to join us to explain what specifically happened. But simply put, there was a push out of bounds. And the player, when they are out of bounds, you cannot do that. It looks like they are looking to attack on the medium hoop here. One beater, Max here, is going to attack their beater, and then their other beater is going to attack 51, and then they should have a 2v1 on that medium hoop. We'll see if they're able to execute.
There has been a warning issued to both teams against making ref calls as we continue to deliberate slightly, but it looks like play is about to start once more. And so,
And here we go.
Steve crosses the midline, and the Lost Boys attempt to score once more. And
there it is.
A score from behind by number 23 on the middle hoop, just as Joe predicted.
That is Anna. Anna right there, just as we saw. Anna subbed in, got the pass to Vince, to Anna, and a good goal. That is 3-0. The beater's released. And we'll see if they can make a play for control now, because they really do need it.
Quick pass from
There's the beat.
80 to 22 as Breakers make
Oh,
an attempt.
a great pass.
And
But just not
unfortunately,
finished.
before anything could be completed there.
But Breakers, in the transition back on defense, were able to gain control back. And here we go. We'll see what the Lost Boys can do, whether they're going to try to have a very patient offense, try to get control back, or if they're just try to run and score. And the Breakers here, I think, would expect to try to draw them in, then attack, and get a fast break the other way. With Anna with the ball here.
For anybody wondering, a score is still 32-0. Lost Boys are up. I do not know the game time.
And going down, passes back up here to the keeper. And here we have four bringing it behind here.
Going out wide behind. Long pass across to the back corner to Shay. Pass back up to Hannah. Hannah to Anna. Anna is beat and a breaker recovery and slow down as we come across.
As we see, while they did not score there, Lost Boys did get control back, and they'll be able to use that and a good beat there, but a good shuffle.
Oh.
And a broom goes flying for Shay. But it was a successful stop here. I think, the Breakers just really need to get one to fall just to get out of that shutout mindset. And I think then the goals might start falling a little more frequently, but we'll see. Anyway, we have a new beater in, Tommy, for the Lost Boys. They have control. They're, again, going to try to attack either the small or the medium hoop here, possibly both, as we see the beaters take one side or the other. And there it is, simple as that.
Score is now 40-0. Lost Boys still up. Last goal by Shay, but we have some sort of call on the play. I don't know if it is a beater turnover or if something is going to rule that goal ineligible.
No, it looks like Shay just was able to take that all by themselves, and we just are doing an equipment change here, getting a new dodgeball in play. as a beater, I'm always a fan of being a very picky with the dodgeballs. I like, you know, probably just my small hands, but
No, you need a good grip. You need it to have a certain amount of deflate, and as the day warms up and the sun shines, physics do in fact work, and molecules get excited, and so the balls become slightly more inflated as the day goes on, and that can occasionally be a problem.
and here we go. We saw 40-0. Lost Boys are up. We are at 10 minutes, halfway to
Snitch
Flag
on
Runner
pitch.
on pitch. And you got to think the Lost Boys, after giving up 13 goals in their last game against Breakers, are very, very happy with their defensive performance. And it seems like they've been incredible at preventing these fast breaks. The Bay Area fast breakers are not here in the first 10 minutes.
There was a slight stall in restarting the game and due to deliberation over who exactly had bludger control due to the result of the previous play. Bludger control currently remains with Lost Boys, and there is a beater swap happening on the breakers. 13 is going out, 66 is coming in, and 23 has also just come in for the breakers.
And here we have
Shay is just
Going
been
up.
beat.
Clear on the beat. This could get control back. Oh,
And there we
shuffle.
go.
And there it is. Look at that. They're 10 minutes in.
First goal by Breakers, scored by keeper number 80. Name forthcoming
That
as we find
is
them on the
John.
list.
John Bridstrup.
Both of their keepers are named John.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it makes it easy for us here on the commentating side. And here we have number 4, keeper.
And a quick score by Lindsay. The score is now 50-10. Lost Boys up. Lost Boys retain possession. We're getting once again another slow start to the play by the Breakers as they patiently cross the pitch. The beaters are having a time, double beat, and the goal is no good, too low by 51. Harris. Still Breakers ball. Soleil fights Shea for it. There is a turtle.
Shay's
Shea is
off
apparently
group.
off
That
group
should
mid its
be.
breaker ball. Soleil has used the reset.
Shay, headband.
And the keepers have swapped out, and keeper number 15 is bringing the ball across the pitch. I believe that is reset used, but I'm not entirely sure if that
Yes.
was called in that mess.
Yes, now we have a whole new chase line in. We got Sam Harris, Brendan Williams, Crystal, and Soleil here. And there's a beat up top here and a turnover caused by Tommy, but it did cost them control. And here we have them running on a fast break. We're going to get it in time. And there it is, a good goal.
By number 4 on the Lost Boys.
And here we have some, but there it is, 60-10. The Breakers need to really settle this game down. They've had a few turnovers caused by the Lost Boys.
And I believe a timeout was just called.
That's very smart. Last game, it was about the exact opposite situation, 60-10 Breakers. Lost Boys called a timeout, were able to bring the game much closer before Breakers opened it up a little wider. I think this is going to be a very smart timeout to settle everyone down, make sure this game doesn't get out of hand, so that if you make a catch.
Game time is now 12:36, so it definitely was, in fact, a timeout and not something else.
Yes. And you want to make sure you keep the game close enough so that when flag runner on pitch happens, a catch from Lost Boys does not doom you, as that's what happened in our last game here.
Yeah.
Looking at what we're seeing here, I think the Breakers need to do a better job of getting control back, and then once they get it back, keeping it. They've all historically been very, very good at that, but Lost Boys have been able to consistently get control back.
I don't think getting control back is the problem because they seem to be trading control. I just don't think the Breakers, for whatever reason, in this game are capitalizing on the moments when they have control. And they're certainly not retaining it. But when they go after it, they do seem to get it.
That's true.
So I think there's just some miscommunication between their beater line and their chaser line, and that's resulting in their inability to score. I'm also noticing that the Lost Boys are scoring a lot more on their fast breaks, and the breakers just straight up aren't running any at all.
Speaking of the yes, and that's big compliments to the Lost Boys on that. The way to prevent fast breaks is how you run your offense, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. We'll see.
The fact that they have the stamina to do that as consistently as they do is high key terrifying from a player perspective. It's really hard to tackle somebody when they're coming at you full force, as we can see right
Here is
here.
another fast break.
Score by number 4 on the Lost Boys. Score is now 70-10. Lost Boys up. Think we're still under 15 minutes.
Yes. And as we see there, that's what happens when you turn the ball over either up top or while throwing it into the keeper. You really want to try to throw up a shot that if it does not go in or a pass does not connect, it's a turnover behind the hoops to prevent that fast break and that easy goal.
The single beater for the Breakers is doing a good job of making some opportunities as the Breakers trade tall passes and go for goal.
Wow.
Deflection by Tommy, who used the thrown dodgeball to deflect the quad ball, giving Lost Boys control once again. And they approach the keeper line of the Breakers and slow it down once more. Tommy again cleaning up for Lost Boys and making opportunities for his team as the Lost Boys continue to try to ping out the wing hoops to get scoring opportunities, but it has been resulted in nothing as a turnover as the Breakers keeper regains possession of the ball, and we shift our focus once again towards the other side of the pitch as the Breakers, once more, my point in case, take a slow, casual meander across the pitch.
It's very smart. The Lost Boys didn't put any pressure on there, allowing for a free sub for the Breakers here. So we have Maxine coming back in. We'll see if that'll be able to get control.
And 53 in the far backfield also just subbed on. Nice toss, but beat before. And we get a fast break again as Soleil tries in vain to chase down number 4 of the Lost Boys. The score is now 80-10, Lost Boys up.
And the Breakers were able to, instead of trying to prevent that fast break, keep their beaters in to get control. So they will now have control, which they desperately need. Now they need to focus on holding on to that while still using it to create good offensive possessions.
We've just had a keeper sub for the Breakers. Number 30, John, is now back on and has just received the quad ball. We've also had a beater sub and retained beater possession. Number 50 from the Breakers is going behind to try to clean up and make some opportunities. And Soleil,
Look at that.
pass between Soleil and 53 gives us the score. And Austin was attempting to regain the ball and was knocked over by John, the other keeper. This is probably a foul of some sort, but that's also the first time I've seen that happen. So I don't know what's going to go on here.
So we just shout out there to Kyle and Soleil on that give and go and give to finish. Very, very impressive passing. I mentioned it in the last stream. I'll mention it again. Soleil, a very talented player, and just knowing where to stand on the pitch at any given moment to create opportunities, and they were able to capitalize there on that. Here, I'm sure they're debating whether Austin had picked up the quad ball and thus was an active player to be hit, or whether this is not the case and that would be either a delay of game or a contact penalty. But we'll see they now have gained control, and then look at this, the Breakers have lost it again. The Lost Boys have it. They were able to trade goals with it, but when you're down 6, you really don't want to just be trading goals.
It's not super helpful, especially as one of the referees on the field and this deliberation is holding our flag runner shorts, which means we're probably close to flag runner on pitch. And so we're probably getting close to flag runner on pitch. And trading goals while flag runner on pitch is a very dicey situation.
Yes.
If you're down, you want that flag. If you're up, It's a little, it just means you have to run less to score less goals, but it's not as crucial. But if the Breakers can find a rhythm
Yes.
and can get into a good set of quick scoring goals while Lost Boys focus on other things, it might turn out okay.
Yeah, and let's talk about what's going on right here. So it seems like it was a legal play. Austin is now off room. John Judd's got the ball with no beaters in front of him. And this should be a goal if they're able to get past them. Beater comes into play, and the
Oh,
shot is
the
good.
shot is good, and
Great
a
shot by
ball,
John Judd.
a bludger came flying in from behind. Breakers bludger in the backfield. Ball is coming across fast. Austin no look pass to himself as he likes to do as he's behind the hoops and no goal too high, but still Lost Boys ball. Shea loses the quad ball. Kick by 23. I think it has gone off pitch and that is probably dangerous kick or something. Either way, I'm fairly confident that as we come back in, unless it is an earlier foul, that is going to be Breaker's ball, as the last person to touch was the Lost Boy, number 23, who kicked it over the sideline. Not intentionally, but that is where it ended up.
Hard to control kicks, and then in that case, we'll have Max Howard.
White card?
It looks like they're calling a dangerous dive on 30. Yep, dangerous dive on number 30.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is a yellow card. The light was just wrong, and I got very confused at what I was looking at. Yes, yellow card, dangerous dive. We have now had a positional swap because you must have a keeper on the field at any given time. So John Judd has swapped out to Chaser, and number 49 is now the keeper for the Breakers to maintain all positions on pitch.
And that should be a quad ball turnover to Shea, number 40. We have the beaters here fighting for the ball, so there is an opening to score as the other beater is far behind pitch for the Breakers. If they're able to execute appropriately, this should be a goal for the Lost Boys.
And you're going to keep an eye on beater play as Kruger and 50 uh, figure out who's tussle for who's got what as the play comes back in, as it is an actively contested bludger.
You'd like to think Jake here is able to help out here as they are able to. They're able to gain
23 regains ball as we back up a little bit to try to reset and get another look on goal in this 3-1 question mark. Oh, Shea is out. The hoop is dislodged. Soleil has the quaffle and has passed it off to the keeper. The ball is safe. We are doing a massive sub swap on the Breakers side. Austin up high.
And in that chaos, the high press from the Lost Boys was able to get a turnover. And here we're wrestling for balls. That looked like it might have been a hit from behind. And there is the whistle.
And Austin may be down with injury. Oh, I hope not. But he's holding his leg up kind of funky.
We always hope not. We can move the camera away here and we're going to just chat about the game here. That was a very, very good high press there. With that sub, they all subbed all at the same time, which is putting you at risk as they had basically no passing options except one that was actively subbing in. Beater pressure was able to get there, force a pass to effectively no one, and get an extra possession out of for the Lost Boys.
And I am happy to inform that there does not appear to be any injury on the play at all. Austin is standing fine. It does look like there might be a card on the play, but I don't know from who they are. Once again, the ref is explaining and deliberating, but nobody tells us these things, so we just have to make our best judgment.
Well, we'll make sure we find out for the stream. And here we have 80-30 latest update here. 80 Lost Boys, 30 Breakers. Game time is in the 15 to 18 minute range.
And it is, in fact, a foul of some sort. I'm assuming a yellow card as Austin makes his way over to the penalty box. I'm going to guess it was either a dangerous dive or
I believe it would
contact
be
from
a
behind.
contact from behind tackle there, yes. Yes.
Back from behind.
Phenomenal. We have marvelous news from our one of our wonderful assistant referees. Sam has just in fact confirmed that Austin is taking a yellow card from a contact from behind tackle, and the Breakers now continue across the pitch with a slightly rapid or faster pace than they really have been doing most of this game as we set up for their own attempt on a
Yeah.
score.
They,
Also against a nope, they've just shifted into a 2-2 defense.
and we'll see here, as they said, they played very patiently once they got across half, so that they could attack here with full strength, while taking advantage of the penalty against Austin Wallace. And here now they have full numbers. We'll see how they attack, and as we see Jake here defending in a trees-like defense here, and here we have Kai with the ball, and a good beat by Jake Malloy, picked up here by Kalen, and a tap, and that's Kalen here. It might have been not a natural motion call here. It looks like that will be the call, not natural motion on what was a very close tap out here. Lost Boys ball. Dodgeballs go back in hands as they were thrown after the whistle. And we have not likely a fast break attempt, but Krieger is known for pushing that here and might try to make a beater play to create one. Looks like that will not be the case. And there is a pass. Oh, but Jake's there to clean it up. A very smart play there by the Breakers, but clean up by
Jake
Lost
Mulcahy.
Boys were able to make it a no harm, no foul.
All right,
We have
Jess.
Jess with the ball here, bringing it up. We got a large sub line here. Lindsay coming in, Vince and Steve. This is our starting line for the for the Lost Boys, trying to put this game away possibly before SOP with a very strong performance here in the last few minutes.
I mean, I understand driving up the score so that you don't have, so that your opponent doesn't really have much of a chance to get it. As the Lost Boys scrap for the ball, it looks like the breaker keeper has recovered it, and there's another foul on the play. To continue my thought from earlier, I understand wanting a large point differential so that a snitch catch, a flag catch, does not in fact automatically end the game. But given how the set score works that we do use to end the game now, I don't completely understand driving up the score quite as high as it does sometimes.
It gives you some strategic advantages here around where you can choose to put your beaters. Specifically, it allows you to be more comfortable putting them in the quad ball game instead of in the seeker game,
It
which
looks
really
like
limits
this.
your opportunities. There is a penalty here on Lindsay Simpson. We will get our ARs over here to tell us what specifically happened on that. It's unclear as there was a pass to Lindsay beforehand, but we'll see. Yes, looks like there was contact from behind on Lindsay after the
Lindsay
pass.
initiated contact from behind, not contact from behind on Lindsay.
Yes.
If it was the other way around, Lindsay would not be the one in the penalty box. And
Beat by TCD here, and you'll have numbers, and there should be one more beat here. Yep, and now we're running, and you should have a fast break. Post it up on middle hoop here, and oh, a shot goes through the zone player. Great shot there by Max Howard.
and
But
we're getting a quick retaliation from the Lost Boys as the beater game, which once again shuffles control, and the Kruger Malloy team up has once again gotten crazy with it. Good goal by the Lost Boys, I think.
yes, that was a good goal.
Score is now
90-40.
yep 90-40.
Yep, and they are without a dodge.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, it looks like we have our three dodgeballs here. Great play there by the Lost Boys to eventually gain chaos back. It's okay sometimes to trade goals in those situations, fast break for fast break, especially when you're leading like this. And in the end, they come back with control and a 5-point lead all the same. And here we have Max Howard directing traffic here, scored on that last one. And here, slowly working behind. It looks like we have a 1-2-1 defense here, 2-1, but with one person being faced. Got a great pass, stop it, and is the block. And it's a good goal. Vince was not able to get his hand behind. Great cut, great pass, great finish there by number 80. And we're going to have some time to deliberate whether the shot went through or whether it did not. It looks like our game time is 19:15, which means here you'll really want to possibly slow the game down, hold last possession with control if you are the Lost Boys.
It does appear that our flag runner is Christian.
Yes, Christian Barnes will be our flag runner today. They're very knowledgeable about the rules here and will come in here to help clarify whatever the official call should be based on what the ARs have seen and are explaining now.
Oh, and papers go flying across from the score table as the wind picks up here in Roseville, California, where you are all joining us at a stoppage during the West Regional Championships.
The Place of Valor National Qualifiers, technically. But we're about to have a real good one, so stick with us as we're approaching 20 minutes coming up soon. We are about a 4 or 5 goal difference here. A snitch catch could bring that even. Either team could take it. It is great quad ball here. And we might have our rules analyst, Jonathan Gala, possibly joining us. Does not look like he heard me, so we will not have that happen. Looks like we have a beater penalty on TCD, number 29 for the Breakers. A, a beater penalty at this point is very tough because it effectively means the Breakers will have no chance to get control back outside of a miraculous play by Lorena here to 1v2 and keep 2 dodgeballs without having to begin with.
It's not impossible to do. People have done it before. Notably, Joe himself did it before at regionals a couple of years ago, and it was very impressive. But against a Malloy and Kruger lineup, when they have control,
That's
and
true.
Sam, our AR, has given us another clarification on what is being deliberated. The goal is good. Was it? Sorry, did you say it was an injury after?
No, there was there was a beater foul afterwards.
Thank you very
So
much.
if you did not hear that, we have a goal is good, back contact in the beater game after the goal on 29 TCD. Yes. And so especially here with this, the only chance Breakers could have here is if Lost Boys with this penalty get a little too aggressive, more aggressive than you'd regularly get in this 19 to 20 minute range. They may choose to do that to add another goal to the total. But
The score is currently 90-50, and we are about to resume these final 45 seconds or so of the first part of our game.
and we'll see here. Oh, 10 seconds. 1950. I misheard, not 1915. Looks like we're going to have a beater stop here for the Lost Boys. And it looks like the beaters will not try to do that and let their chasers work the ball around, make that extra pass after it
Just to
gets out.
Steve. Steve is behind. Long shot across back up to Vince as the beaters go in. We have changed our lineup. We have number 10 in for Lost Boys on the beaters. Long shot cross Vince to Steve as Steve and Vince do a quick traderoo. And Steve is now on top and a shot on middle hoop. It is no good. Ball is still in, recovered by Lindsay on the sideline. Quick pass over to Vince. Quick pass up high to Jess. A long, quick shot over to Steve again as he makes a quick U-turn and goes sort of vaguely, nope, running in front and throwing back to Lindsay, who is beat out, and quick recovery by Hannah, I believe, of the Breakers, ending last possession. We will now have a minute break as we get ready for flag runner on pitch.
That is Kalen, actually, for
My bad, Kaylin.
Breakers there. Rallying to the ball. A great last defensive possession there. We saw a 1.5 come out of the Lost Boys. They're a very smart play to not risk your dodgeballs. And create opportunities for your chaser to score without that. Uh, Now we'll see what is going to happen here. Christian Barnes is a great flag runner, uh, but we also have very, very talented seekers here. Steve DiCarlo has been seeking for the Lost Boys, and Jesse Stevens has been seeking for the Breakers. Jesse caught in the last game. Just one small look was all he needed. So Peter's likely willing to be very, very vigilant on the flag runner, which should give an advantage to the Lost Boys as they're leading now. But there is no team in the West that's likely better at stopping drives than the Breakers.
I would second that. And for people listening at home, can't quite see in the mess of heads as teams meet to discuss their strategy who exactly is seeking for the breakers, but we can confirm that Steve DiCarlo is probably going to be the starting seeker for the Lost Boys. Looks like, let's see, we've broken up.
And that is Jesse Stevens there.
That is
So
Jesse
we'll
Stevens.
have a rematch from last time, and we will see if Jesse can prevail again, making this a tied game, or 90-80, first to 6 or 7, or whether Steve can make this a very arduous comeback for the Breakers.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm low key rooting for arduous comeback for the Breakers because I think that will be slightly more interesting to watch.
Oh, as a commentator, I'm always fully neutral. Yeah. With no personal opinions except saying what I see and trying to provide some insights to the
That's
folks
right.
at home.
That's why I said slightly more interesting to watch because interesting things to watch lead for better commentary.
Yeah.
I'm not really rooting for any team in particular. Like,
Yes. You could, if you get a quick breakers catch as well, then you are effectively back right in a tied game. This has been how a lot of games have gone this weekend, and historically, these two teams are the two teams that have caught.
and the game is now live, and we've had a false start by Jesse Stevenson as he runs off the line. Which will result in a technical foul, I believe.
That will be, I believe, a blue card here, which is very, very tough, which means you'll likely get Steve getting the first looks right away.
Which is very, very advantageous for the Lost Boys because if a quick catch like that is all you need, and now you don't even have to let your beaters hang out and guard the flag runner the way you normally would. If there's a foul on the other seeker and he's just out, then well, their breakers are low key kind of screwed with it.
They'll definitely need to spread out, try to move the ball around to break this press here. So you'd expect that they would try to press all the way past possibly even mid pitch here. Sorry.
There's two cameras here,
Yeah.
Sam. Take your time. We'll lean around you. It appears our snitch referee is Sam off of the Vipers, who's going to do great at this.
And it looks like it's not a card, but just an off broom to start. There's Peter's here. And Steve's in here right away working. Son. Oh, and control for Duran and the Breakers right away. Ooh. Oh, and there was a face beat there.
And possible foul / check for head injury as
Yes,
Steve
we'll
tumbled over Jesse. He may or may not have kicked him in the head, or is this somebody?
There's two separate interactions here. We got the trainers out here. Hopefully everyone's okay, but all in all, it looks like from what we saw in the gameplay at least, Breakers couldn't have asked for a better start to SOP in terms of the beater and flag running game, in terms of getting control back. Steve is currently beat. And the Seeker should be eligible to keep playing and attack right away Jesse. So it looks like to get also play was stopped due to a head beat to check for any head injuries. And the Seeker will be allowed to stay in the game, and they'll have a chance to catch right away.
I have completely lost track of where the quaffle is in all of this confusion. Who's got it right now? Can you see?
The quad ball?
Yes, sorry, my bad. The quad
Yes.
ball.
I am
There's a bunch
also
of
trying
refs
to
standing
find.
in front of us, so we can't exactly see behind them super well. Ah, I found the quad ball. Vince on the Lost
Vince.
Boys has the quad ball in the far back behind his behind the hoop line and is trying to hide it as I narrate where this is. So us folks at home know where it is, but it is a mystery to everybody else on the pitch as they are focused on the seeker and beater game.
And so here we'll see what the Breakers are going to try to do with control here. Right now, what they're likely going to want to do is form this box, but because of the head beat here, that will be a yellow card and a
A
quad ball turnover.
So Breakers regain possession and will regain possession as the game restarts with the quad ball in possession of number 80 on the Breakers,
So
who I don't know the name of, but the most interesting thing I know about this, I'm sure they're a marvelous person, but I do know for a fact they have a very cute dog named Potato, and
80,
it is important to me that the listening audience knows this.
he's got John right there, and then we have Jesse coming back in, and it looks like they're going to split up their dodgeballs here.
And split by number 51 on the small hoop. Steve regains the ball, and the Lost Boys are now taking their time to cross the pitch as they give Steve as much of a look as they can at the flag.
And they're all beaten here. We're seeing a very, very slow possession here. This is going to be very, very smart to get as many looks as they can with this happening. It looks like Duran is here to try to create a turnover. Beats out Vince here, but Steve is just getting a lot of time with the Seeker here. It looks like they have control back, so they should be looking to beat people out. Looks like Lost Boys are very comfortable to use their reset.
As Shea
Take their
has the quad
time.
ball and is getting hassled by number 2 on the Breakers to try to steal the ball. Breaks free and is now running through as 80 tackles them down and
Good goal.
and the ball comes out, recovered by Vince and quickly shot into the mid hoop for a good goal. 51 makes a quick break for it and is getting held up by number 25 on the Lost Boys as they slow down as they cross the midline.
And Lost Boys have just dominated the beater game, but it does not look like it's going to matter. And a good goal there from John again, number 80. He's got 2 here. And it looks like we're very close to a catch.
We look out, and for those paying attention, you will have noticed that Steve has swapped out for Austin Wallace on the Lost Boys. But if this catch is good, oh, correction, there is no catch at
There's no
all.
catch.
Just a very nice attempt as the game stopped by Jesse coming in from behind our flag runner as Austin occupied them from the front.
It's very, very, very close. And it looks like here the Breakers are able to score on every offensive possession they get. So the Lost Boys here, looking to catch, are trying to slow that down as much as they can. They're a very patient team, very calm team. They'll do this for effectively ever. It looks like we're going to see a possible timeout being called by the Lost Boys here.
And speaking of the Breakers scoring on every possession that they've had since the flag runner has come out on pitch, our current score is 100-70.
Yes.
Lost Boys are still up. If the Breakers can catch, we will be facing once again a tie game. Or tie-ish game. If the Breakers catch, it'll be 105. So they'll technically be up, but that will only prevent an actual tie in the long run if they can catch. But they have to do it first, which is as easier said than done. Don't ask me how I know. You can all guess.
Looks like we might have a beater set to 50. Yeah.
We've just been informed that the set score is 150.
Yes.
So if the Lost Boys manage to pull it off, then they'll only need 2 goals to win the game as it stands. But if the Breakers can keep up their defense and keep going on as they've been going, it's going to be a lot closer, I think, than either of these teams would prefer.
Well, I think the Breakers wouldn't mind a close game here, but it looks like Andrew here has got a beater penalty here. We'll figure out what that is and let you guys know at home. But that is very, very brutal for SOP again as well, because then you have a lot more flexibility with your beaters to run around, create a lot of chaos. Jesse will likely get no look here because they'll have 3 seconds before they can advance, and in that time, Lane will likely beat them out, and then they'll have a quick. We'll see what the Lost Boys want to do, whether they want to have a quick offensive possession to score a goal, or whether they'll still keep it slow, give time, and score right as that penalty expires.
And so, as we look like we're getting ready to start once again, there will be a 3-second countdown for the flag runner as before the Seekers get an attempt to go after him once more. But it looks like we're still deliberating something, and I'm not entirely sure what. In the meantime, it's been a lovely day here in Placer Valley, and the wind is picking up, blowing some of the dust and grass around. And I hope nobody has any allergies, as it's getting to a point where it's going to start being effective in the middle of winter, as everyone kicks all this dust and stuff up. But I much prefer this to how it was this morning when it was damp and quite literally freezing out. So much nicer temperature to play in as I make small talk and awkwardly fill in the dead air because we've kind of run out of things to talk about of what's going on the pitch.
Whoa, it looks like there's no call on the play. They're just off broom. To fill in what you're saying, beautiful day to play quad ball, but looks like we're getting started back in it.
And thus your actual sports commentary will resume as opposed to my kibitzing about the weather.
And so with that, we'll see that's a very, very huge thing for the Breakers. They still will be without dodgeballs for a while, but we'll see what they can do. Jesse, very smart, knows that he can't advance towards the flag runner, but can go farther away to avoid a beat.
And so we have Austin Wallace making solid attempts. Vince with a pass with the quad ball over to Shea as they attempt for a score. With Lindsay behind, but the quad ball goes back up to Vince in front of the hoops, back down to Shea as they pass back and forth between them to open up some possibilities for score. Quick pass over the hoop, nice recovery by number 2 as the quad ball switches possession over to the Breakers. Steve is back in and off broom.
Great play by Christian Barnes there.
As he makes an attempt at the flag.
And we see Breakers have gained control, so they could really turn this game around here. With a good goal, it was at a double beat there by Tommy Brown, and that might have been second contact. I don't think an AR agreed with that perspective, and a very close play, but a good beat by Tommy Brown, just as Jesse was getting his first look in a while.
And a quick possible retaliation goal, luckily stopped as Shea's attempt is blocked by number 20 something who is down, and we might have a possible injury. Yeah, possible injury on the breaks. The player is very slow to get up. It was the breaker who made a very, very awesome save against Shea's last goal attempt. But we are, in fact, taking an injury sub. Soleil is now back on the pitch for the Breakers.
That was Stephanie and Chetta there with a great stop. Hopefully they're all okay. And then Sam Harris was able to also get on top of it and get keeper ball here. We had very, very intense play in the Seeker play here. Steve and Jesse still back in. A double beat here is able to get control. It's unclear. I believe a beat was made just on Jesse just before the whistle. Which means they will be on broom. They should be able to get to the dodgeballs.
And the quad ball is currently in possession of number 49 on the Breakers, who looks like is going to be making a potential fast break or even possibly a reset, as they are currently covered by 2 Lost Boy players.
Yes. And we have the score update 100 Lost Boys, 80 Breakers. This game has gotten very tight as SOP has extended on and on.
Kudos to Christian managing to hold off both Steve and Jesse thus far. And as I spoke true. And here we go. Nice fast break by 49 for a good goal for the Breakers. Your score update is now 100 to 90. Lost Boys still up, but just barely. Quick beat out by Steve. Quad ball recovery to Vince.
A missed beat by Tommy Brown, and that means Jesse's going to have a lot of day with our flag runner, Christian. Another beat out on Steve, and this is going to be a lot of time. You can't have this much time. Oh, and here's Lane back in the play to clear it out. Oh, but double clear. Oh, no.
Vince has just
And Vince
crossed
has got
the
time.
midline and is once again passing to Shea behind hoops to try to open up these 2-1 defense going on around the Breakers hoops. Back up to 23 to top of the hoops, over to the side, and John from the Breakers keeper has recovered the ball.
Very close attempt for Austin here. And now
Austin Wallace is back
we have on offense, John Judd is running, gets the pass out to Max Howard. And here we have a beat on number 77, Austin, and a good goal. We are all tied up at 100 here in Placer Valley.
Last goal scored by number 49 on the Breakers. And we have a timeout.
And there is the timeout. They needed to do that here as we have a game here. First 2-5. Yeah.
Yes. Have a chair for our winner.
Our flag runner has been absolutely untouchable. Many close calls here, but our beaters are running around, making sure that no one has just enough time to make that catch here. I'm curious strategically to see what is going to happen here. Will the Lost Boys put their dodgeballs possibly into the offense more? I'm not sure if that's a wise strategy because a catch from the Breakers at this point. Hey, as we see Christian Barnes point to the camera that is not looking at them. A very impressive flag running so far. I did actually. That was quite impressive there.
You know, valid strategies from from the flag running.
My toes. Every game. Grab one flag and I'll get something.
Well,
And so my chair, please, sir, as I return to commentating. You're so good. Oh, good. Thank you. Phenomenal. I'm glad that my hoarse voice from yelling is well received by our audience here in person, and also based on the messages I've received by the people at home. Game is resumed, and the Seekers are back in at it. We have Austin Wallace versus Duran. Surprisingly, I did not see that coming.
looks like they're going for length more than anything else to try to get around. Christian is
They have talent.
They have a very solid frame and very hard to get behind them unless you're just very long. And it looks like we're going to have the Lost Boys come out strategically with a very slow possession. I think we'll likely hear a ref give them a warning for delay of game before they really try to advance and do anything to give as much time as possible as we have a new seeker in Shea and Vince passes to Hannah. Hannah
behind hoops,
nice.
intercepted
Picks off the
by
pass.
49, and the Breakers take it back across the field at a semi-rapid speed. Shea loses his headband as an attempt to take Christian down. Quickly beat out.
A deep pass to John Judd connects, but Krager is there, and there was just a possible catch.
Yes, it looks like Duran is in possession of the flag. It is time and up to Christian and the other refs to determine if the catch was good.
What?
Slightly distracted by the Hail Mary throw far across the pitch from 49 to John Judd.
Yes.
But it did not go anywhere because, as mentioned, Kruger was there with a dodgeball to clean up.
Wow, we have a good catch by Duran. An impressive strategic move. Put in the length to get around the flag runner, pull that flag, and make the catch. We now have a 135-100 game. The Breakers started flag runner on pitch down 5. They're now up 3 with 2 goals to go, while the Lost Boys need 5.
But we are back on the Kruger-Malloy beater lineup for the Lost Boys.
Vince Woolsey passes to Lindsay, and Lindsay connects on the middle hoop. We have 135-110, 4 to go. 2 to go.
As I was saying, we've got the Malloy Kruger beater lineup again, which has been giving the Breakers a lot of trouble every time they've been on pitch together. So we'll see if the Breakers can capitalize on their flag catch lead.
Looks like they're shifting from a 3 trees to a 2-2 defense here. We'll see. We have Steve
With Lindsay
up
up
top.
top and Steve guarding number 49. But the pass goes behind to 53. Kruger on, back up top, intercepted by Steve.
Oh, and
So
Soleil picks it up, but Hannah comes on here and gets a keeper ball. And now the keepers are running. Well, they turn around and find there's a beater.
And
Finds the pass to
finds the pass
Lindsay
to
Simpson.
Lindsay.
Wow.
The goal is good.
What?
We are now 135 to 120. The Breakers are still up, but barely, and look to be struggling as we hold on.
What great last 2 possessions there. Lindsay just knowing exactly where to stand to get a very quick pass and score. Oh, Jake tries to shuffle, but does a questionable job. There's a blue trade here. Oh, but a pass just a little too high. And a beat there from Kruger. And these have been a few sloppy possessions here for the Breakers with their lead, and it might just have evaporated just like that.
Lindsay has regained possession of the quaffle on the Lost Boys, and as they cross the midline, they are accompanied by Jake, and we've had a beater substitution, and Lane is back on the pitch, sneaking behind with their bludger.
So we see they've condensed into a pretty tight defense, but are in a 2-2 as we get the ball to Steve behind hoops. Looks like they're trying to attack on the small hoop.
And
there
once
it is.
again, Lindsay scores on the small hoop. It is now 135 to 130. Breakers again still up ever so technically, and the keeper has regained the ball.
Wow. And now
John Judd is doing a fast break as the beater game has
oh, and Soleil is right there.
quick pass to Soleil through the middle hoop.
Oh, a huge catch
45.
in the beater game over here going on. We have a huge interactions for control. It looks like Breakers are able to keep it.
And there's a lot of deliberation going on the field, and the game is stopped, even though there was no actual call on anything. Steve from Lost Boys has just handed the ball over to Lindsay, who is walking across the pitch. Our score is 145 to 130. This is game point Breakers and possibly tie game point for the Lost Boys if the Breakers cannot stop this. Quick pass from Lindsay to Steve behind hoops.
Oh, it's picked up, and we have a fast break situation.
We are going for a fast break through the small hoop.
And it's good! Wow!
Is game. That is game.
What a comeback by the Breakers.
Holy cow.
The Bay Area Breakers are your Placer Valley National Qualifier winners. Congratulations to them. A very, very hard-fought game from the Lost Boys. They executed very, very well with a short roster before SOP, but then when the flag runner came out on pitch, the athleticism of the Breakers was just a little bit too much. Any last notes in the game?
I'm just astounded and very, very impressed. I mean, I said I was hoping for a comeback like that because it was a more interesting game. And boy, howdy, was that a more interesting end to the game than I could have predicted. Again, this has been your Placer Valley regional qualifiers?
Yeah, national qualifier.
National
Yeah.
qualifiers. And this was our final game of the day, I believe.
Yes.
I have been your commentator, Lynn Novak, joined by my buddy and teammate, Joe.
Joe Blanchard here, you betcha, signing off from Placer Valley. Wow, did we have an exciting finish here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Travel safe if you're going elsewhere, and I hope you all have a pleasant rest of your day. Time to go watch some superb owls.